What's up, YouTube? You already know who it is. I'm coming at you guys with a Swaggy's Corner type episode. I just read an article on ESPN and thought it was too crazy not to make a video on. So shout out to ESPN. I give them full credit for all the information in this video. So again, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I do videos like this every day, multiple times a day in fact. So this video is about why 2018 will have the best NFL draft class of all time. So I'm going to be talking about in this video players that are eligible for the Hall of Fame. Although they might not all get in, these players are all amazing and should at least be considered. So the first player I'll be showing you guys is Ray Lewis. Now Ray Lewis is arguably the best linebacker of all time. He played 17 seasons for the Baltimore Ravens. He made it to 12 Pro Bowls, and he was able to win 2 Super Bowls throughout his career. The first one coming in 2000, as he was a part of that legendary 2000 Ravens defense, and the second one coming in the early 2010s. Ray Lewis was one of the best linebackers of all time. Like I said, everybody feared him. He was the hardest worker out of any defensive player. Honestly, you can make an argument he was the hardest worker out of any NFL player all time. Maybe rivaled with Jerry Rice. But guys, if you haven't seen Ray Lewis highlights, please go watch them. Ray Lewis highlights are crazy. He always hit the hole. He would hit the running back so hard. It was just amazing to see this guy play football. And it would be fitting to have him inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2018. So the next player, who's one of my favorite wide receivers of all time, if you're an old fan of mine, you know I loved using this card in my old Madden 17 series. You know, the Finesse King, Mr. Straight Cash Homie, Randy Moss. Now, Randy Moss is he's kind of an older player, but at the same time, he's not. He was kind of winding down his career as I got old enough to start watching football. But the memories of Randy Moss were crazy. He had so much potential. He honestly could have been the best wide receiver of all time, but he just didn't have the work ethic like Jerry Rice or someone like Terrell Owens. And you know, he gave up on plays sometimes, but when Randy Moss was in the zone, he was just phenomenal to watch. A really sad part of his career was when he was traded to the Oakland Raiders. I believe those 3 years, he just did not play well. I think Oakland just drained the life out of him. But guys, when he came to New England in 2007, the Randy Moss we all knew from the early 2000s was back. He put up 23 touchdowns. Guys, he scored 23 touchdowns in one season with Tom Brady. Those numbers are insane. No one has ever broken that. That is probably a record that will stand for many more years. The only person I could see breaking that is Odell Beckham Jr., and that's only if he can get a better quarterback than Eli Manning. But if you haven't seen Randy Moss highlights, make sure to watch them. Every time he was on the field, he was always the most athletic player. He was always faster than you. He was going to jump higher than you, and he was always going to score a touchdown on you. The next player I believe that should be inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2018 is BrianUrlacher. Now, BrianUrlacher is kind of a poor man's Ray Lewis, but I don't even know how you could say that because BrianUrlacher was still amazing. He was a feared tackler just like Ray Lewis. You know, he could catch those interceptions. He could get those user picks. You already know I love getting me some user picks. I'm just going to name off some stats real quick. He spent his entire 13-year career with the Chicago Bears. He made 8 Pro Bowls in those 13 years. And only 2 players in Bear history had more Pro Bowls than him. Mike Singletary with 10 and Walter Payton with 9. This just shows how amazing BrianUrlacher is as a player. And his prime from around 2000 to 2005, here are some crazy stats from that point. Again, I got all this from the ESPN article, so make sure to go check that out. He had 32.5 sacks in those 5 years. Then in the second half of his career, from 2006 to 2012, he had 15 interceptions. And again, in 6 years, having 15 interceptions when you're a linebacker, that's crazy. Now the last player who I believe who's a more recent player that should get in the Hall of Fame is Ronde Barber. Now, Ronde Barber was never a huge name, but he always had made big plays when they needed them most. He played his entire career for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he played until he was very, very old, unlike NFL speak. So yeah, guys, he stayed with his one team his entire career. His twin brother Tiki was also really good. They played against each other a few times. If you haven't seen A Football Life by NFL Network, they went over Ronde Barber and Tiki Barber's life, and that was definitely one of my favorite ones. Just to name off some stats he played 16 years with the Buccaneers. He played in over 240 games. He had 47 interceptions and returned 8 of those for touchdowns. I believe the best play of his career was in 2002. He had a 92-yard interception that really sealed the fate for the Buccaneers and brought them to the Super Bowl that year, where they would go on to beat the Oakland Raiders. So guys, these are just 4 players who I feel like should make the Hall of Fame next year. I know some of you guys are kind of young and might not know that much about like older NFL players, so I wanted to get these new guys in there. So if you guys agreed with anything I said or disagreed, if there was another player you feel like should get in, make sure to leave a like and leave that comment down below. Also subscribe. This is Swagsy Games, and I'm signing out. Peace, guys.